You have to make faces when you take selfies?
Wait, one more now.
Oh, there you go.
Better angle. Oh, check it. Did that come out okay?
That's the best one of the 300 pictures I've taken of myself today.
Every girl in the picture is locked into her phone.
God has blessed us with free will. Now it's free will magnified, free will on steroids. You're free to go in any direction you want. It will allow you, and it's not the enemy. It's just it's just a reflection of our own free will. Oh, and we all want to be liked, but now we want to be liked by 16 million. And will now some of us do anything to be liked?
So all my trolls in the comments below, trying to type your way up to the front row. Just a quick reminder, this is my show. You don't like what you see, you could just keep on scrolling, 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 scrolling. Ain't gonna take the bait, ain't gonna feed the hate, ain't gonna try debate, ain't gonna regulate. Trolls, trolls, what is your goal? You spew a lot of beep from your bum hole. You wasting all my time on the comment patrol. Don't you ever take a break? Are you on a bankroll? You wanna bait me?
Trolls, what is your goal?
You wanna bully me?
Trolls, what is your goal?
You wanna hate me?
Trolls, what is your goal?
Daddy, the internet is mean.
That engagement with social media and our cell phones releases a chemical called dopamine. That's why when you get a text, it feels good. Right? So, we've all had it where you're feeling a little bit down or feeling a bit lonely. And so you send out 10 texts to 10 friends, hi, 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 hi. Because it feels good when you get a response, right? Right? It's why we count the likes. It's why we go back 10 times to see if my Instagram is growing slower, did I do something wrong? Do they not like me anymore, right?
I see your post got 20,000 likes, 1 million followers, a pretty big mic. So why you tripping? Bound to be some dislikes. Just cause we all don't agree, don't mean we try to hitchhike. Hitchhike, 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 hitchhike. Piggyback on your likes.
Cause I'm gonna call you out when you be selling out. I'm gonna cost you clout. I'm gonna cast it down.
Creator, later, rumor instigator. Wanna be famous, gonna have to deal with haters. You in LA, you a model, you an actor, you a waiter. You be riding to the penthouse in a service elevator.
For all them likes, you get a fat check. So I'm just here to do a little fact check. I set the record straight, just give me a sec.
Daddy, the internet is mean.
I think you're addicted, and I'm talking about anyone, from the highest to the lowest. If you don't think you're addicted, then see if you can turn it off for a week.
How do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible? And that means that we need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while because someone liked or commented on a photo or a post or whatever. And that's going to get you to contribute more content, and that's going to get you, more likes and comments. And it's a social validation feedback loop that it's like it's exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with, because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology.
Trolls, you could have just scrolled, typing in the box, spitting in a black hole. Nobody gives a beep, you're spilling your soul. Cause everybody knows that your goal is to troll. Daddy, the internet is mean.
Dopamine is the exact same chemical that makes us feel good when we smoke, when we drink, and when we gamble. In other words, it's highly, highly addictive.
Heavy
Hey, hey, hey.
man.
What up, everybody?
Heavy. Hello. Nice video, buddy.
Oh, thanks. It took a lot of work to kind of get the lyrics and everything and to play out into the video part of it to make sense. But thanks. It was kind of fun. I just ran across the cartoon, or the character, if you will, and so I went seeking some music to put with it. It took me a while to find something, and I thought the song was pretty cool. And it's not copyright, so yeah, it was kind of fun. Just a little shorty for some fun. I mean, it's so true.
Yep.
Hi, Vaughn, Salacious, Tina Slay, Don Moore, Cicero, hiya, Sue Bear. All right, Don Miller.
So it's your 1 year anniversary of something or other?
Well, sort of, kind of. I'm not going to really do anything about it. The 25th of May last year was my very first live stream, and it was hilarious. Linda was there. There may be a few people around here that I think Sue Bear was around at that time too. Maybe not. Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was my first night with StreamYard.
I bet it went off without a hitch.
Yeah. It depends on your definition of a hitch.
Right.
So, yeah, it was, hey, Ron, what's going on?
Sure, tell jokes, Cicero. I don't think Ram and I have got shit tonight.
Yeah, both of us, I'd tell DP, I'm not feeling the best tonight. And he's like, man, neither am I. I was like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
I probably shouldn't have eaten them 10 banana sandwiches.
So I was going to tell Ron, I apologize, Ron. I had to change the my community post, and I know you left a message right off the bat about something to do with somebody, and I had to delete that one and post another one up. So if you want to drop me an email with the info, whatever it was, I know it was fairly lengthy about somebody, and I'm sorry I can't recall the particulars, but if you want to pass that on to me again on an email or something.
They're called screenshots.
Hello, everyone. Diamond Draco. What up?
What's up, Draco?
So we have the Chille call. We have Patrick Darcy dropped a video an hour or so ago.
Yep.
We have
your choice of entree tonight at the
My
Ram
choice?
Jam Buffet.
my choice of entree.
Well, we have Chille or Darcy for your
Yeah.
two main entrees.
Yeah, I got a couple others in the back there ready to go too, just in case. Depends on how I feel, how long I'll go. Let's see. Has anybody seen Linda? Is she in here yet?
I wish there was a live chat equivalent of like the Batman smoke bomb when he just wants to disappear and run out of a room suddenly. I think if I could develop one somehow, I'd do pretty good for myself.
Do good for you. Hey, Angel, what's going on? No. Yeah, you're right. You don't want to piss Patrick off. He certainly can take care of himself. That's for sure.
Yeah, he doesn't need any of this nonsense.
Marshall says quit banging his mom at the sleazy motel.
Well, I feel his pain. I went out of the way to point out to Chille how dangerous his live streaming and driving is,
right,
and try and save him a lot of pain and aggravation and suffering. And what do I get for my troubles? And then I make little A-I Chille for him to explain to him what he's doing wrong with everything else. And yeah, what do I get for my troubles? I get the stupidest cease and desist letter ever written. So I understand how he feels.
Right.
Feel pretty fucking unappreciated, Ram.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, you say that now.
You know better.
After we get off the air, it's what the fuck was all that?
Oh, that's not true. When have you ever heard me? No.
They don't know that though.
Well, yeah, and that's all the more reason.
They're lies, but they're entertaining lies.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, DickBag's latest video.
No.
Yes.
No,
yes.
I don't want to watch my own video. That's
Well, then you can go to the bathroom. All right. Let me know in the chat. You want to watch DP's video or not? Put a one if you want to watch it, and don't do anything if you don't. How's that? Because I can't count past one.
Using a chili tactic.
I'm just an old worm farmer.
Right. You know your shit.
Yep, that's right. That's all you have to you're losing, pal.
Well, look, y'all, I've already watched. I mean,
well, of course you have.
Spent enough time.
There's a lot of people here that haven't, you know, or maybe they were waiting for the live stream to watch it.
All right.
Hey, unclean hands, what's going on?
There is only a couple things I would have changed on this. I realized when it gets to the part about Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the wording I was intending to use was instead of using it as a critique of American culture, which it is generally speaking, but I would have preferred to say a satire of human behavior.
Here we go. He's being,
that's
he's
just
already being anal about his
nitpick disclaimer. But and there are a couple sloppy masks.
Thank you, Angel. I appreciate you both. Well, we appreciate you. We really do.
I swear I'm trying to get faster with the editing process.
Hi, Danny. Oh yeah, kind of an anniversary, sort of. Yeah, that live stream. I thought about playing part of it tonight, and if I get feeling better, I may do it because it's pretty comical. I might. I don't know.
Hey, Unclean. Hey, Danny.
We'll see
Gerard.
how it goes.
And hello to Linda H. All right, well, play it. Goddammit.
Yes, we're going to.
You could probably put it on like 1.25 speed. With the same result.
I will do that. I will do that because it doesn't go fast. That's for sure.
I will say it was a fun video to do because it was just a fun. The topic of satire, parody, and combinations thereof is kind of an interesting one.
Well, that's kind of your alley.
I mean, I used really recent examples. And also the other thing, somebody already called me out in the comments. How could you forget Mel Brooks? And remember, I was telling you, I was like, yeah, I want to put some Spaceballs in there, but I'm kind of running out of time and
right.
Whatever. But
kind of running out of time.
If you think, yes, I am very aware of who Mel Brooks is and his contributions to society. I think they're some of the finest you could ever hope for. I mean, that guy had a good. I like Mel Brooks a lot.
Absolutely.
Big fan.
Absolutely. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. DickBag Patrol at his
in
best.
color.
In color.
Big Patrol. In color.
I don't really have an axe to grind with anybody. It's just interesting how you see these non-attorneys. They'll cite a big section of law and say that you're in violation, or they'll cite a case to say that this stands for the proposition that supports their side. But then when you read their cases, it's complete nonsense. For example,
so let me just show you. This guy's name is DickBag Patrol. He makes videos about me. You might want to look up the case called Bette Midler versus Ford Motor Company. You're going to get your cease and desist letter in the next 24 hours. If you don't take down the videos where you mimic my voice, I'll sue you. I'm suing you next. You're the next person I'm suing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Pure nonsense. It's even more annoying when they threaten to sue you for no reason.
I saw a video today by someone who hates chili saying that I violated the UCMJ because in one of my videos, I created a parody of myself wearing my
No, I
panties
did
to
not say
Marines.
that. Just to be clear, I make the point later on, but I could have made it a little more emphatically. I did
And it
not
says
say he violated the UCMJ. It's the Marine Uniform Handbook.
right in that code section that the only way that section applies is if you confusingly convince someone you're an active duty service member. And of course, everybody knows that I'm not active duty. I've been out for years. So I just want you guys to understand, don't believe anything these guys say because they don't know the law. They don't know what they're talking about.
So, first of all, don't be putting words in my mouth. I don't hate Chili. I have never said I hated him. I believe he is a deeply confused, deeply troubled individual, and I pity him. I do find his behavior much of the time to be utterly contemptible, as is my right.
I hope you burn in hell. I hope you burn in hell, and I hope your kids get bone cancer. I think you're horrible. You're horrible people.
You don't find that contemptible? I think most people would. And as a personal injury attorney, I would think you, of all people, would find all of his flagrant disregard for road safety in the form of over 100 videos on his channel featuring him dangerously driving while live streaming very contemptible. I find it troubling that a personal injury attorney would even appear on a channel featuring that kind of behavior, let alone champion the individual responsible, and then on top of it claim he is a great driver. Are you going to represent Chili in his negligent driving case, Michael? I mean, he's the type of guy, you've seen his driving record, presumably. Yeah, Chili seems to be the type of driver that you would usually be suing.
He is amazing.
He is amazing. You got that right, buddy. Amazing. Yeah, great driver. Absolutely. So you're going to represent him in his case, his negligent driving case? That doesn't seem to be a direct answer, but.
Hello, Patrick. Everybody, Sir Patrick Darcy has joined us.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
How you doing, sir?
How are you?
Doing fine. I'm about to watch you guys on live stream. I'm just got a phone right now, so give me a second here.
Oh, you're good. We'll play on with this and we'll break here in a minute.
Yeah, I'm easily trainable.
That can mean so many things.
You're easily trainable?
I'm easily trainable. I think now I'm getting the idea that I'm supposed to click on current links, not old links, and try to just do things simple rather than making things unnecessarily complicated.
Well, I like where we're at in this video right now is pretty applicable to what your video was that you just released earlier. You know, so many people, I mean, have tried to reach out. Like DickBag said, he's done many times. Tried to reach out to help. Like DickBag. All right, there's an echo somewhere.
I just turned it off. Go ahead.
I got you. Yeah, reach out and let him know that it's not, nobody hates the guy. Well, I'm sure somebody does, but that's never really come from any of us.
Yeah, I can verify there's some venom out there.
Yeah, there is. And but
yeah,
we've always talked about, you know, we would hope that he would seek out. Look, even the Josh and Kate trial, even Josh and Kate, you know, Kate even spoke several times about, you know, the guy just obviously needs some assistance.
Well,
Tina Slay, I get you,
yeah,
Tina. No, you're right.
I was just gonna say, some people have a legitimate right to hate Chili.
Absolutely,
because he's impacted their lives negatively. So that, in my book, completely understandable. Like, I've never even met the guy, but I know intimately the results of having a serious car crash, right? The way that impacts people's lives for the rest of their life. So, you know, that was my primary thing with it. And then like I said, there's just so much going on with this guy that and people seem to be responding to the videos. So just kind of stuck around, but you know, but I have never, I always I joke about it. I joke that he needs mental health, but I'm not really joking. I mean, I really think he would tremendously benefit from some counseling and from, you know, something.
He makes it awful easy not to like him.
Right. But wouldn't we all benefit from something like that?
I would. For sure. All right, let's get back to it.
Ha ha ha. Whoa, whoa, I'm hydroplaning. Oh shit. Hydroplaning. Holy shit. Hydroplaning. Wow, that was crazy. I was just hydroplaning. Did you guys see that? Holy shit. I was sliding everywhere just now. That was terrifying. I was just hydroplaning big time. Holy Jiminy Crickets. That was absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful to be alive right now. Oh my God, that was terrifying.
I mean, wow. That is the reason I started making videos about Chille in the first place, his reckless disregard for everyone else's life.
You know, people already bitch and complain that I live stream and drive, but I don't really care because, well, the proof's in the pudding. I've been fortunate with being a driver. I've been fortunate in that regard.
I mean, how do you defend against that in court or on general principle?
And look, I know a lot of people make their living off of trash talking Chille, and they get all their millions of views and likes from saying bad things about Chille and delete law. So basically, from my perspective, he's created a whole industry of bottom feeders who are basically living off of him in order to pay their bills if their channel is monetized.
Secondly, calling me a bottom feeder is disingenuous at best. Not to mention downright rude, Michael. Are all of you alpha males this sassy? You think I'm making a living off Chille? Are you serial? The amount of money I make off these videos doesn't come anywhere close to covering the amount of time I put into writing and editing them, and I'm okay with that. You know why? Because after hounding his ass for months, Chille finally stopped live streaming and driving. So, mission accomplished. Yeah, you're welcome, by the way. I mean, if a guy were cynical, he might suggest that you are more the beneficiary of Chille at this point. I mean, you had less subscribers than me a couple weeks ago, and now you have over 1,000 more than me. Sure, maybe your channel isn't monetized, but it's free advertising for you, which I think we can both agree is very, very valuable. So after doing Chille, not to mention everybody else, what I consider to be a huge favor, what do I get for my troubles? Besides you calling me a bottom feeder, I mean. Well, your little First Amendment loving friend threatened to sue me. He had no grounds to do so, of course. Didn't stop him from sending me a really stupid cease and desist email, though. Which brings us around to satire and parody, specifically Chille's lack of understanding of it.
I wish I'd put a little bit of that letter back
A-I
in there.
Chille, a First Amendment protected parody version of Chille.
Just keep an eye out for Patrick Ram. He may be.
How's it hanging, everybody?
Chille, of course, loves First Amendment rights. His First Amendment rights. Mine, not so much. He didn't seem to grasp that the First Amendment protects parody and satire. On that same note, why is it that I'm banned over on Delete Law's live chats, but you, or anyone else, is free to comment on mine? Why is that? Anyway, long story short, Chille tried to use Midler versus Ford Motor Company as case law, which doesn't have anything to do with anything. I made a couple of videos showing Chille just how wrong he was, and I'm not going to rehash it here, but let's just say the upshot is Chille's understanding of case law is just as bad as his understanding of satire and parody. So it seems appropriate we have little A-I Chille give us the definition of satire and parody. That way we can all be on the same page. Take it away, little buddy.
Satire and parody are both forms of creative expression that involve humor, irony, and often social commentary, but they differ in their intent and approach. Satire is a literary or artistic technique that uses humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to criticize and mock societal issues, human behavior, institutions, or individuals. Its primary purpose is to provoke thought, expose flaws, and stimulate change or reflection on the subject being satirized. Satire often employs wit and cleverness to convey its message in a way that challenges norms or highlights absurdities.
One of the most prominent examples of American satire is, of course, The Simpsons, which has long taken jabs at various aspects of our culture. The 2006 film Idiocracy is a sadly prescient and not entirely far-fetched vision of the continual dumbing down of our society. But satire doesn't have to be comedy. 1984 is a grim examination of oppressive government that questions the nature and power of freedom. American Psycho skewers the mindset of the 1980s Wall Street executive in what some consider a horror film, although I think it's more of an extremely dark comedy. RoboCop, ostensibly an action flick, is rife with satirical elements.
I'd buy that for $1.
The point is, it runs the gamut.
Parody, on the other hand, is a comedic imitation or spoof of a specific work, style, genre, or person. It mimics the characteristics, themes, or elements of the original work in a humorous or exaggerated manner for comedic effect. Unlike satire, which targets broader social or political issues, parody focuses on humorously mimicking and poking fun at a specific subject or target.
One of my favorite movies ever, Airplane, is a direct parody of the 1957 disaster movie 0 Hour. Jason Alexander played a parody version of Larry David on Seinfeld, and then Larry David went on to play a parody version of himself on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And by the way, the Curb Your Enthusiasm finale was itself a parody of the Seinfeld finale. On YouTube, I enjoy Pete Holmes' Batman parodies, and as a drummer, I really appreciated this parody of a drum instructional video.
What's up, guys? Today I'm going to teach you how to play Hot for Teacher by Van Halen. Iconic intro. Goes something like this.
When it comes to music parody, the most recent example would be The Lonely Island, but the undisputed heavyweight champ is, of course, Weird Al Yankovic, seen here in the parody film The Naked Gun. So much parody.
In essence, satire aims to critique and provoke thought about societal issues, while parody aims to entertain by imitating and exaggerating elements of a particular work or style for comedic effect. Both forms of expression rely on humor and irony, but differ in their underlying purposes and targets.
And of course, satire and parody often intermix. Saturday Night Live, Mad Magazine, and Mad TV, In Living Color, Key and Peele are all varying combinations of the two. Idiocracy is a satire that also uses parody versions of real companies to make its points.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
Both America Tonight and The Larry Sanders Show are parodies of late-night talk shows, but both manage to satirize the entertainment industry as well. The Eric Andre Show was an insanity-fueled parody of a late-night talk show, which Eric literally proceeded to beat to death with a baseball bat. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is a parody of the sitcom format that heavily satirizes American culture.
Shut up, baby dick.
Within that framework, they've also parodied other movies and shows and frequently even satirized themselves. Quite a feat. This next one's one of my favorite examples of a big ball of satire and parody. In 1984, Weird Al Yankovic did a parody cover of Huey Lewis's I Want a New Drug called I Want a New Duck. In the year 2000, American Psycho starring Christian Bale comes out. As we mentioned, it's a satire of the mindset of Wall Street executives in the 1980s. One of the most famous scenes in the film is when Christian Bale, just prior to murdering Jared Leto with an axe, gives a speech extolling the virtues of Huey Lewis's music while playing Hip to Be Square on his stereo. In 2013, Funny or Die created a parody of American Psycho with Huey Lewis and Weird Al, where they recreate this scene, but Huey gives a speech about American Psycho. It ends with Huey killing Al with an axe, and then telling him,
"Try parodying one of my songs now, you stupid bastard."
Got that? In other words, it's a parody of a satire in which a guy whose music is essential to that satire confronts and kills a parody artist who made a version of his song years ago, literally killing the parody with satire. We're through the looking glass here, people. All right, so I think we all get the picture, right? But as far as me not knowing what I'm talking about regarding the uniform regs, well, I quoted directly from the Marine Uniform Manual. Not, repeat, not the UCMJ. You claim I don't know what I'm talking about, and to bolster that point, you left a comment to school everyone. Yeah, except I looked up that UCMJ reg number 26-270 and nada. When I Googled it, I did find a similar reg number, 26-170, not 270, in the Arizona Revised Statutes that contains nearly the exact quote you mentioned. So hey, if you think the Arizona Revised Statutes trump the Marine Uniform Regulations, awesome. And if you want to claim what you're doing is a performance or parody, even better. By the way, Michael's little dress-up deal isn't limited to the silver screen. Check out this snazzy ad for his law firm. Looking sharp, buddy. And now, one more example of parody, a militarily relevant one. Arlie Ermey, a real-life Marine drill sergeant, played, essentially, himself to great acclaim in Full Metal Jacket. It's so over the top, some might initially think it is a parody when in fact it is not. Now, in The Frighteners, he did play himself again as a ghost based on his public persona. This is clearly a parody, parodying himself, or his image anyway. So, is that what you're doing here? Because I'm not seeing it. A parody of yourself as a boot Marine? Because if so, the most relevant example of media to compare you to would be Gomer Pyle.
Hey, that almost makes us kind of like brothers.
Say, that's a great idea for a YouTube show for you. Gomer Pyle, attorney at law. No charge for the idea.
Shazam!
In the end, this is not something I even really care about that much. Certainly not interested in going back and forth about it. I mean, if you want to dress up like a dorky boot Marine, go for it. Really makes me know never mind. At least it gives everyone more opportunity to laugh at you, because we're certainly not going to laugh at any of your comments. Let me be clear about that last part, because it's a very important point in comedy, satire, parody, or otherwise. Getting an audience to laugh with you is good. Laughing at you? Not so much. And as a footnote to all this, I saw that Team DLZ shared out your video about the actual malice standard. Chille should know all about it, since I had to school him on it in one of my previous videos. Good to know you understand the dangers of making statements about people with reckless disregard of falsity. Have a nice day, Gomer.
We are proud to claim the title of United States Marine.
Oh, excellent video.
Hooray for me.
Don't mess with DickBag. That's the moral of that story.
Well, just don't come say silly things on my
Stupid
channel.
things, right. I saw where Cicero made a comment earlier about something that I have a little something that is applicable to that. Something like that there. I don't know if you can even see all of it because all the crap that's on the screen.
I got it. Yep. The Pinocchio.
Yeah, she made it some kind of a Pinocchio joke.
She's got a million of them.
Yeah, I do as well.
Do we want to play Pat's video? Since
Well, yeah, I was wondering, did Pat drop back out again?
No, he's in now, right?
Oh, I think he dropped back out.
Take the Pinocchio off the screen.
Just a minute.
Yeah, I guess he did.
Yeah.
Not sure.
No,
maybe he's having connection issues. Well, we can play his video regardless.
Right.
Silly goose.
I didn't have to take Pinocchio down. I can see the whole screen.
Oh, well,
Okay.
la-di-da, Mr.
La-di-da.
Mr. I've been live streaming
Oh, you know
for
what?
a year.
You know what? I'm gonna. Yeah, right. I want to point something.
Oh, that's right. We have Chille's phone call.
We got Chille's phone call, but I want to point something out real quick. I'm not going to play it, but I want to point this out. Is when you were talking about when Ehline's talking about his look at his channel. Look at his thumbnails. You talk about advertisement. I mean, look at these thumbnails. Yeah. It's ridiculous. His thumbnails are absurd. Yeah, and he's talking about. Yeah, he does. You're right. He has. His channel has grown quite a bit, hasn't it? I hadn't really paid attention to it. Yep. All right.
Oh yeah, 7.5 now. Yeah, he was only at 5.5 or something a few weeks ago. So.
Yep.
There you go.
All right. What do you want to do? Chili first? You want to do?
Yeah, somebody was requesting Chille, so
they're requesting Chille.
And since it would make sense to play that first, since Pat's video, from what I understand, will sort of address some concepts related to it.
There he is. Hold on just a second. I got to finish this up real quick. And he's back. There he is.
Sorry,
hello.
guys.
You're fine, buddy.
I don't know what's going on with my internet, but it just keeps disconnecting me, and I keep getting switched back off.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I might be in a bad spot in the house.
All right, so we were going to play the Chille phone call now, and if you want to break into it at any point, just say the word.
Just speak up.
Can I ask a favor? I don't know if this is easy to do. My video is only 5 minutes, and in case I get disconnected again for another 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Basically, he called me a charlatan and et cetera, so I took it from there.
Right.
Well, I'm excited because I haven't seen it yet. All right. Whenever you want to play it, Ram.
I'm working on it.
That looks like me. Hey, and I want you to comment on my video editing skills, DickBag. I'm not you. I'll never be you. But I'm better than me. I'm getting better than me.
Patrick, if it make you feel any better, I was thinking about playing my very first live stream, and it'll make you feel wonderful. It was such a joke trying to figure out StreamYard, because I basically purchased it the day that I went live stream that night, It was kind of a last minute deal because the guy that I live streamed with got his channel got taken down. So it was a last minute deal. Oh man, what a cluster that was. You're fine. You're doing great.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just in a short period of time. There's been a really nice improvement in everything, like your audio and the video and the backdrops and everything.
And I got creative here. I got creative. The green bushes in front of Georgetown University was working as my phantom green screen, and it actually did a good job of blocking out all those mirror images and stuff that are behind you.
Nice.
So anyway, it's nice to know that somebody was at least as bad as me. So I'm getting better though. So you guys watch. I'll shut up and you can go ahead and watch the video now.
I was much worse.
And Chille's video, the telephone call got broadcasted where he doesn't say my name, but he calls me out as a charlatan and other things. Behind me is the picture I took of Georgetown University, the main campus, when I first got to DC more than 20 years ago. That's Healy Hall in the background. And the fact that I needed a green screen, I thought the bushes and the shrubbery and the landscaping of Georgetown worked out quite well.
Let's talk about something important. Put that coffee down.
You call yourself a constitutional law scholar. I was not your adversary. And so maybe because you're getting the information in a filtered and incorrect way in jail, you somehow think that I have become an adversary. In fact, I have spent an inordinate amount of time putting out videos that were very helpful to your case. Now, I'm not a Nevada lawyer, but, you know, why would you ignore all of this? Now, I knew it would be helping you. And my goal here was beyond looking at you. It was the poor who don't have the means to fight back like you do, or me, if I were to be charged with such a crime. Any statute that is vague enough to ensnare innocent people needs to be overturned. And you talk about that in your video, but you had 2 statutes in your grasp that you could have done this with. You're making a big error by lashing out at people who are not your adversaries, because you're going to need lawyers to get through this mess. Now that you have put Michael me in a bad light, it's going to be harder for you to find another lawyer to help you, because without lawyers, you're not getting anywhere. I wasn't getting paid to do all this work. I didn't see anything that I worked on showing up in your trial briefs, in any pretrial motions, at trial, any testimony from you, nothing within your your appellate brief, if you want to call it that. So all of my time was wasted. So maybe you were being diplomatic and you weren't saying my name because you thought that that would be kind of like giving me a pass. Okay. Or like I said, maybe because of the stress of being in jail and getting incorrect information, you thought somehow I turned on you. All I was doing was telling your followers to be careful. They're free to do whatever they want. The call that you made really, again, misses the mark. Those were instances where Congress is debating policy, debating a statute, debating changes to statute. That is 100% petitioning activity. And you certainly can let your congressman know about that. This is much different. This is something before a judge who's supposed to be impartial and not influenced by the followers of the person who's accused of a crime. In your logic, that if millions of petitions were descended on the court, that would be grounds then to increase your sentence. I can only imagine your reaction to that. You're saying, let me out because my followers think that I've been wrongfully convicted. There's nothing fair about that. There is nothing that complies with the law. That is outside the bounds of law. You can't tell a judge that because I can get X number of petitions saying that I'm innocent, that the judge just decides well, okay, I guess I'm convinced. That's not how the system works. But the point is that you attacked me in your video. A charlatan is a very interesting choice of words, not a nice choice of words, I'll tell you that. I think it's an Italian word that refers to the old days of a quack physician. But in California law, it doesn't have to hurt me. It would just have a tendency to do it. And if the statements are defamatory on their face, then the damages are already presumed. I don't have to prove them. You can look at the Al Gabor case for a great example. The problem is, Chille, is that you are now attacking people who are not adversaries. I'm not looking to fight you. What I am looking for you to do is to apologize. Say, you know what, Pat, I got bad information. I made a mistake. I didn't expect you to get more than a couple of weeks. But then again, I wasn't expecting you to antagonize the judge while she's sentencing you. Most people would tell you that is a bad idea. And maybe that's what gave you the extra time. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to get into her head.
Well, let me explain how the legal system really works. Okay. You see, Mr. Blunt, if your client doesn't voluntarily cease and desist, we'll be forced to go through the long and very costly process of injunctions, lawsuits, motions, counter motions, hearings, appeals.
Which is going to cost you so much in terms of legal fees, you'll wish you'd never heard of.
Patrick Darcy.
Because there's no way in hell we're going to let you guys come barging into Bushwood Estates and
Sell a lot of trifolds to judges, lawyers, and police officers. Maybe you thought that you weren't defaming me by just leaving my name out of it, which I could kind of see. Maybe that's what you thought. Came from a good place. But just so we're clear, I am a defamation lawyer. I won't need a lawyer to deal with you, but you're going to need several really good ones to deal with me. Don't want to go there? But if it happens, just remember, I warned you.
Well, any questions?
Questions, class?
Well done.
Yep.
Yeah, good video.
He's Chille's really slowed down on the phone calls, hasn't he? This one's a little disturbing though.
Yeah, there's a couple sort of, well, there was a lot of moments in it, let's say.
Right.
What made you think? Yeah, great job, Pat.
Did you like my amateur editing of Caddyshack scenes?
I loved it. I got it 100%.
That's the first time I've ever done that.
What editing software are you using, Pat?
It's called Me, Myself, and I, and it is everything that's difficult. What I saw is if I right-clicked on the audio, it separated it. So I found a way to delete clause, and then I saw the little record microphone. So I tested it with my voice, and I went, "Whoa! I can just,
voiceover
the audio and say what I want to say." So to me, it was funny. So I thought, "What the heck? Why not try it?"
Yeah, the tutorials come in handy on that editing software. There's so much I still don't know about my software.
Yeah,
I stumble across things all the time.
Well, I appreciate that, even though I'm, you're certainly a very busy man whose time is very valuable. A, we appreciate you coming up and talking with us here, but B, the fact that you're actively trying to make your little presentations, your videos better. It's good quality.
Got a marriage proposal there, Patrick.
I saw that, but
Oh, dear.
Meadowlark. I hope it's not Meadowlark Lemon.
Meadowlark Lemon.
Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that would certainly put a twist on it, wouldn't it? All right, let's get moving along here.
Got catfish.
Let me get this thing going. Let's see. Sir Chille, Mr. Chille, where are you, Mr. Chille?
Do you think maybe he figured if he just didn't say my name that he was trying to give me a pass? Because I kind of want to give him the benefit of the doubt, because he could have just said who I was. And I thought maybe he was just trying to be tactful, And so I'm not really convinced either way. It's kind of like in the middle. But what it also tells?
Yeah, tactful and chili they're not synonymous. So I'd have to pass on that one.
I think go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm wondering if my earlier video about the potential for criminal violations has actually stopped a lot of the mail traffic hitting the court and the call flooding, and this is his way to try to rejuvenate it again. I don't know.
Well, from what I've been told, trying to tell Chille anything that isn't an idea of his own is challenging. So I think he doesn't take kindly to people being told like he's wrong.
Yeah.
And you'll hear that at the very end of this phone call. It was a really kind of like, wow, what an odd and revealing, in my opinion.
I
thing
think
to say.
Tommy's hit it on the head here. He just couldn't remember your name.
Oh man, yeah, no, he's an autodidactic.
That's good, Tommy.
With a photographic memory. Can't be that.
All right, let's get. If anytime you want me to break, just yell out.
I'll watch this one. I don't have much to say on it.
My name is Chille Castro. I'm a journalist.
Holy cow! Where's the volume?
Locked up in the Clark County Detention Dungeon in Nevada. I'm an innocent man who's been put in jail for filming a cop, and that is the extent of any so-called crime. It's absolutely preposterous that I'm in here. And while I'm in here, you're going to be led by people who are going to mislead you. People are going to try to scare you and say things that simply don't have any constitutional merit or value. They just don't.
Leader.
So I've asked this.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you turn it up at all?
I've got it up all the way, but I could break away and increase it, but I'd have to.
No, I think it's okay.
Okay.
Personally.
And as you should, I have a hearing coming up for the appeal brief that's going to be on July 10th, 2024 in front of Michelle Levitt, Judge Michelle Levitt. The court should be petitioned to release me and to grant my petition to be released. It's called an appeal petition. So that's what it is. Everything filed in the court is a petition or a writ. And anybody who tells you you cannot petition the court is a charlatan, and they're misleading you.
Okay, stop that.
Tell you that the
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Anyone who tells you you can't petition the court is a charlatan. So, according to the word charlatan, I was doing a little research on it. It's an Italian word that refers to a doctor who's a quack and incompetent. They use the circus barker attitude where they just kind of shout things out, whatever comes to mind. They're complete snake oil salesmen, liars, will say anything. I mean, that's pretty much what they are, and incompetent, untrustworthy. And so, that's not exactly a kind thing to call somebody, and especially when they're licensed, since all doctors are licensed. So what I did in my video up in the upper screen, just to give Chille a taste of what defamation law is here in California, where he actually has an address. So now he's on my home turf. I talked about the Gill decision, the Bowers decision. There was another one in the original Swan decision from 1892, which talks about how generalized smears against a professional is the most egregious, and it's still the law today, all these years later. And then the cases I cited were all cases where doctors were accused of being incompetent. Those cases would be extended by analogy to all licensed professionals. And so therefore, when you call them incompetent, and I've already done the research on this because I do a lot of anti-SLAPP and a lot of First Amendment law, you've actually said that a lawyer has now acted in a way below the state bar rules standards of conduct and has now become grossly negligent. So it's defamatory on its face. So when he says that they're charlatans, that's what he's saying about people like me. And the thing is that's so ridiculous about this video is he gives examples of perfect petitioning activity. Congress, the executive branch, all getting into it, trying to figure out how to debate laws and stuff. And the difference that he doesn't get is that the courts are the impartial arbiters. You don't lobby them to change their decision, okay? You don't hit them with these so-called petitions because you don't like the result. You go through the appellate process. And he has trouble understanding that.
Well,
go ahead.
There's not much money to be made in videos about the appellate process, I figure.
The world is going to turn to mush tomorrow. And then I can sit and give you the validation as to the reasons why the world is going to turn to mush tomorrow. And it can make perfect sense to you. Just like Don LaPree, multi-million-dollar real estate deal. If you buy his videos, you're going to be a millionaire in the real estate market. You remember Don Lapre?
I remember him. You guys remember him?
I remember stuff like that. They would come on like TV commercials, right? And
Yeah,
give you
he
like
had
a
those,
900 number, and you'd get a free booklet or some shit.
He
Something
had a
like
high
that.
energy voice, so you know he perfected the small, tiny classified ad idea that you would put in newspapers all across the country, and then each ad would generate revenue, and then you would multiply by all the different ads. And then he did the 976 things, where he would show you how to get 976 numbers for all kinds of stuff. So yeah, he definitely made his mark. I don't know what happened to him, but yeah, he was definitely famous for a while.
But essentially, it was just kind of scammy.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I'm not sure.
Sounds a little bit that way to me, but sounds kind of like some kind of just what do they
Well,
call
he
it?
was tied. He was tied
Shell
to an
games.
infomercial guy for a while out there in California a few years, maybe 5 years ago. You remember what that guy's name was? I know Tina knows what his name is.
I don't remember.
He was backing his channel. He did infomercials on, gosh, I think just about everything, siding and motor home. Oh no, I know what it was. It was timeshares. He was a timeshare guy.
System, you're going to be a millionaire next year. Just follow my steps, and you're going to be a millionaire too. And so someone can sit up there and say, I'm credentialed, and I know. Well, let me give you just a little bit of a rundown on the history of petitioning in America. July 14th, 1798, President John Adams signs the Sedition Act that says that any sort of obstructing a federal law or for publishing malicious or false writing about the government or the military will get you locked in jail. The Sedition Act does not last. It's going to fall because it's illegal. The First Amendment gives you the right to petition, and I'm calling for you to petition the court to release me because it's perfectly legal to petition the court. July 29th, 1835.
So that's
boatload,
that thing that he's talking about was only in effect for a couple of years, from what I gather, and it was struck down. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what his point is about it. You know what I mean? The information is fine, but what is he trying to say there? You know,
Well, he always does
follow
the
up.
same thing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, it's just kind of cherry picking it.
If he were to write this up in a brief before a judge, assuming he knows how to write this up in a brief, and the first thing a judge would do is look at this and go, so what's your point? You want to tell me about stuff that happened 200 years ago? Can you show me some more recent case law on this, counselor? Oh, well, I'm a big fan of the common law. Judge would say, all right, well, then you've got nothing really to tell me. There's very little in this that we can do today that is based purely on common law. They call them like non-statutory motions. So he can give us this history lesson. I don't know how accurate it is, but it would have nothing to do with the topic at hand, which is, can you quote unquote petition a judge? No, you cannot.
Right. Exactly. He missed the point of it again. He said he was trying to apply the idea to petitioning the court somehow. It didn't make sense.
Boatload of abolitionist material goes from New York down to South Carolina in Charleston. What do? They burn it. They burn all the abolitionist material. That's on July 29th, 1835. Well, then on December 2nd, 1835, Andrew Jackson, in his annual address to Congress, calls for banning the petition of slavery literature. And then this is the big push right now to get slavery abolished in our country was in the early 19th century. So then on February 4th, 1836, the racist Senator John Calhoun says that it's not the right of the federal government to ban mailing petitions. It's up to state law. That state law can ban the mailing of petitions. This is the history of petitioning, and it's just not true. Then on March 9th, 1836, after two anti-slavery petitions are submitted to the
I love the smug laugh that's added, as if it's an all-knowing laugh that somehow gives additional credibility to what he's saying. it's a really bad thing to do when you're trying to persuade people because it could insult them. It sounds like you're talking down to them, and now they're missing the message and they're thinking more in terms of how it was delivered. Right now, all he's doing is he's boring me. But go ahead.
Senate. Calhoun, John Calhoun from South Carolina, he proposes banning petitions about anti-slavery from the Senate from now and forever. Now, the Senate is going to strike that down, but the House has not heard the bill yet. And what are we talking about? We're talking about the House of Representatives of the United States government in 1836.
Yeah, not the judicial branch. Not the judicial branch. Legislative and executive, but not judicial. Get your house in order there, Chille.
Henry Pickney of South Carolina, he proposes the gag rule that you ban all petitions. All petitions, resolutions, memorials, propositions, or papers relating to the subject of slavery on the House floor.
Yep.
May 26th, 1836.
The House has the power, just real quick, the House has the power to adopt its own rules. That has nothing to do with giving a judge 1 million or 100,000 so-called petitions because you don't like her decision, especially when she doesn't have jurisdiction over it anyway. He's getting completely off into the weeds. The rulemaking power with the House is something that they have by nature, or they wouldn't be able to conduct business. And I've looked at the House rules. That's why they call them rules of order and everything else. So what he's talking about is totally irrelevant.
Gag rule that says you can't put any petitions into the House that have anything to do with interfering with slavery. December 27th, 1830.
Right, donuts. That's what I was thinking. The three branches. I mean, that's the reason it was set up that way. He's completely off base.
36. John Calhoun from South Carolina argues that the states reserve the right to ban abolitionist petitions in order to prevent the federal government from becoming a vehicle of anti-slavery activity. Calhoun says that D.C. banning slavery is a direct assault on the institution of slaveholding states. Are you listening to what Calhoun is saying? That it's a direct assault on the institution of slaveholding states that you're going to petition and say that you can't have slavery. What about the slaves? Isn't it a direct assault on human freedom, on human dignity? So then February 14th, 1838.
Just real quick
John
again.
Quincy Adams.
There's that smug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's annoying. It also could kind of project a little lack of confidence that maybe he's a little unsure of himself. Sometimes I've wondered when people do that, or they can be really sure of themselves and they're just irritated having to explain it to you. So at this stage, he's not really proving anything other than he doesn't understand what it is that I was talking about. And so the laughter actually becomes more annoying to me because it's clear that my message never got through to him. But go ahead.
In protest of the gag rule, sent 350 anti-slavery petitions to the House of Representatives. 350 to the direct members of the House of Representatives, because John Quincy Adams has a right to petition the House of Representatives and tell them that slavery is an abomination and it should be banned. The House passed the gag rule on May 26, 1836. Well, then in 1838, February 14th, on Valentine's Day, John Quincy Adams said,
Were you revving up to say something, or?
No, I was just letting out a collective sigh,
you.
groan for everybody.
350 petitions. August 18th, 1846. The Wilmot Proviso. David Wilmot submits petitions to the House. Slavery will be banned from any U.S. territory, including in the state of California. At this time, though, remember,
Right, the way it was that skip back about 5 seconds there, Ram, if you can. That just made me think maybe I'll do a little picture of an old-timey version of Chille. You know what I mean? Because his head's over the top of the body there.
Oh, yeah.
It just made me think maybe I'll do like a Photoshop of Chille in like really old-timey clothes like that.
At this time, though, remember, California's not going to become a state until 1850. August 8, 1846, the Proviso document, he's saying that you can't have slavery in the U.S. territory called California. What is he doing? He's submitting a petition. February 15th, 1847, anti-slavery forces in the House once again passed a measure in the House via
In the
petition
House,
to
not
ban
the
slavery in
judiciary.
California. What are they doing? They're petitioning the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives has already said they don't want to get a petition, but they got a petition anyway. It is your First Amendment right to petition the government to redress the government. September 20th, 1850, Congress banned slavery in the District of Columbia.
Congress.
How do they do that?
Congress.
Through a
House
petition,
and Senate.
a petition
Congress.
submitted to
Yeah, that's what gets me about all this. You got the three branches of government just totally mixing everything up. Just
Yeah, it's a pile of false equivalency.
there you go. Good way of putting it. Thank you.
to the House, and then it is signed. Congress banned slavery in Washington, D.C. How do they do that? Through a petition. It's all about petitioning. June 15th, 1917, the Espionage Act that says if you say anything bad about the government, you're going to get a $10,000 fine and 20 years in prison. They're trying to shut down the press. They're trying to shut down petitioning. Throughout the history of our time, there were martyrs who stood on their rights for petitioning. Just so you know, Charles Cynic would go to prison, and in Cynic versus United States, the Supreme Court upheld the government's right to put him in prison for petitioning. They said if there is a clear and present danger to law and order, then your civil liberties can be curtailed. Your very first liberty at birth is your right to speak. You're born into the world screaming. June 28th, 1940, the Alien Registration
Pretty sure
Act.
Chille
All
was.
Japanese
Oh,
Americans on the West Coast are to be put in internment camps.
I'm losing IQ points listening to this.
I know. Yeah, he's gonna go to the Japanese internment camps now.
Yes, now he's talking about something passed during the time of war. So I think the War Powers. I might get this wrong, but I think it might be the War Powers Act. I can't remember now, but it was during the emergency that they claimed was that there could be Japanese spies on the California coast and in Hawaii. And so what they did is they rounded up everybody, regardless of their nationality and their loyalty, and they just shipped them all off into the middle of the country. And it took a long time for them to finally realize how ridiculous that was, to just assume that if they're Japanese they're disloyal. But that was the move that was taken. But it was a law that was passed, and so people had a right to speak out about the law. What he keeps forgetting is you don't stack up in front of the judiciary and then complain to them. Okay, they're supposed to be interpretation. The lobbying, the petitioning, that goes on the side where the executive branch is, the congressional branch, all of that. But
well, what's funny is he hit it on the head a while ago when he said the Supreme Court upheld it. Now he understands, but then he turns right back around and confuses it. The Supreme Court, that's their job. Their job, yeah, exactly. He's such
the fact that he's just wrong out of the gate, his whole premise is flawed because he's arguing that the petitioning in the court is a thing, which it isn't. So
it's not.
So for him to then to sort of associate himself with the Japanese internment camps and like all that anti-Japanese sentiment that was going on back then and slavery too. He always, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, the war act, there was a lot of things. Of course, this was an embarrassing moment for the country.
Oh yeah, and if you go, as a matter of fact, if you watch the very first Batman movie serial from 1943, the villain is a white guy in Japanese makeup called Dr. Daka, and they like Batman at one point says really offensive racist Japanese terms. He calls him like shifty-eyed, and like just all it's pretty gross. But that, for him to like associate himself with that kind of over him going to jail for misdemeanor.
Just just wanted to go down a list of the history of petitioning in our country. And you have a right to petition, and you should petition the judge who's going to hear the appeal on July 10th, and you should petition that biased Judge Ann Zimmerman, who's unprincipled, who hasn't put anybody in jail for obstructing in the past 5 years that we know of. And she should be redressed by the people, because what she did is abhorrent, unprincipled, and biased. And there's nothing wrong with telling her that. I will say it out loud 1,000 times, and I'll have it printed, and you can hear me say it. There's nothing wrong with saying the truth to the government. Your voice cannot be
On
silenced.
deaf ears.
You do not have freedom. If you can't speak up against injustice, then what do you have? That is the definition of a tyrannical government. Listen, I'm a passionate person. I believe in everything that I'm saying because this is the law.
That's what's scary.
Right.
Now, you can get a charlatan to stand up there and say, oh, you know, I'm not against Chille, but I'm not for Chille either. I want everybody to listen to me. Remember what YouTube is about.
That is a scary thing to say too.
Yeah, that's a shot at me right there.
Yeah, and
I was telling his followers many times. I said, look, I'm getting tired of writing this. I don't know the guy. I don't really know about his background. I don't really care. I just want to look at the constitutional issues, be it what it is, good and bad. So I'm not for him. I'm not against him. I know people reading it. They could celebrate if they don't like the stuff that's happening. Fine. That's just. But I'm not doing that. I'm just looking at the stuff and trying to come up with what I think will be the right outcome. Because then it shows I have some credibility. I'm not going to change my opinion of the facts just because the guy might be obnoxious. I'm looking at what actually happened and what do I think the law will say and what will be the outcome. So he's trying to really say, don't listen to this guy, even if he claims he's not biased. He's got a YouTube channel to run. And, I got to say, I showed it last time when we hit 1 million views, which to me was astounding. From the inception of the channel, it's made $1,100. I gave $500 to police dogs for some treats last year, and I gave the rest of the money away. And that doesn't count the money that I spend by not working, by just putting together these videos. So when he says that I'm doing this, there's no monetary incentive here. Not at all. I do this because I like it. I think we built a cool community. We talk, we share things, we learn. So that to me is worth something. It's a nice hobby for me. I enjoy it. But he, on the other hand, I would say that he's all about clicks and views and certainly cranking out the money because according to the numbers that supposedly someone ran on him, he must have been making a fortune off of YouTube.
Yeah. Well, look how when he first got locked up, how he was, crying about my channel. I got to keep it going. I got to keep it going. I have to keep those trifolds going out. I've got to run my channels.
Yeah. I mean, just the level of persecution that he's portraying this as is astounding. I mean, the whole thing was it's like everything Chille does. It's an ad for Chille. I think he's taking it's in his shame he can't see that you're trying to be helpful, or you're trying to be impartial. That's the most important thing. And for him to just his takeaway on it is, I mean, he literally is saying in the video, don't listen to anybody else, just listen to me. And he alludes to people not being able to make up credentials for themselves. And I'm sorry, what? I mean, he calls himself a constitutional law scholar. I'll say it. I do not think that he has earned that appellation. I think there's a lot of very serious people with that as an actual title that if they had a conversation with Chille, I can only imagine how it would go. Not well. I can't imagine. But yeah, I mean, the fact that he's not listening to what it clearly is good advice on account of, ego or,
Well, it's like Chille always gets in his own way. And you're right, Lucid Dream. He does make a lot of money off it. Look, we don't make any money off these videos and stuff. I looked at one the other day that's been posted for 7 or 8 months and it's made 3 cents.
Yeah.
You know, we don't.
Yeah, I basically only monetized just so like I don't feel like I feel like I'm not completely I don't want to say wasting my time.
Well,
That's
no,
not the right
it gives
idea,
you some
but
motivation.
it's the motivation to continue because
Right.
you know it is time consuming.
No, it's
And
the
time,
only.
time is valuable, very
It
valuable.
is. Well, yeah. Now you've got channels out there that do this full time and they do a good job of it. And they have a lot of content that they put out and they rely on,
Sure,
you know, the big ad companies. But, you know, you have to really be on your game to put out videos to get top notch advertisers.
Yeah, I simply can't, you know, I can't really afford to put much more time into
Oh, absolutely.
into it. So that's the way it is.
But he does make a lot of money off those. I think Colin, I don't know if he's still in here, but Colin verified that before, you know.
Colin just left you a super chat, by the way. Yeah, he does.
Oh, I see it up there. Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, yeah, the trifold's bringing a lot of money, and he has to do live streams in order
Diamond
to.
Draco,
I mean, the numbers on all his lives and everything are pretty poor at this point. So he definitely took a hit. Now he said he had to lay off a couple employees too, but you know, he says a lot of things. So who can say? But it certainly is impacting him financially, you know. And I don't, you know,
Yeah, Project
not gleeful about that or anything. But I mean, what do you want? How sorry did you want me to feel for the guy? I mean, especially when he's comparing himself to Nelson Mandela and all sorts of hours. It's just like, dude, and he's not. And the sad thing is, like Pat pointed out, he supposedly has this mission, right? Well, if he had been listening to Pat the whole time, he could have really actually made some actual change, right? Gotten some statutes changed.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, you know, again,
Colin, if you're still listening, I apologize for missing your super chat. My apologies. I got up and went and got myself another cup of coffee. But yeah, he says that he does make good money, but he lives paycheck to paycheck because he doesn't know how to manage his money. It's interesting. And Diamond Draco for $5, a narcissistic word salad circle yanked to stroke his sheeple into staying in the pasture full of feces. Keep them confused and they won't desert him. Yeah, he certainly is all about his sheeples, that's for sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of culty sounding stuff in there, man. Don't listen to anybody else, just listen to me. And also, I think he had to go on that on that little historical rant section to prove he's Mr. Smarty Pants. You know, look at everything I know, you know, even though it didn't have anything to do with
specific gravity, the dancing dragon, $2. Here's money. Now you're liars. Ha. Yeah. No, I say it all the time. The only time we make money is in super chats and donations. It just doesn't happen in AdSense. I promise you. I mean, I literally could put it up on the screen where since I've been doing this, it works out to $10 a month, you know?
Yeah. And I do like doing it. I feel lucky to be able to do shows with Ram because we get along really well, and to have Pat here and all of you guys out there. You know, it's fun. You know, it is fun on that level. But yeah, we were definitely, when he said that Ehline guy was talking about bottom feeders and just like, I mean, come on, dude.
Million.
You do think like, yeah, no, I had a very specific reason for starting to make videos about chili. So, you know, And then
That's
he
right.
wants-
You had a purpose. You had a reason, a specific reason to make videos.
Yeah, I mean,
when I started, my first one was Am Against the Press. My second one was Chille. It was the two main guys that were the most offensive to the public. Am Against the Press likes using his pepper spray, and Chille just likes treating people like crap. You know, and well, especially law enforcement. That's what got me. And actually, that's what steered me away from cop watching. And those channels was when I started seeing the way the common people were being treated. Look, I got nothing against the cop watching part of it, but I do have a lot to say about idiots that go up to the common people and treat them like crap for doing their job.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's get back to it.
That's what it's about. Everybody's in competition, trying to get everybody to listen to them. That's the way it is. But they don't have a mission. What's our mission here at Team DLZ? Overturn Terry versus Ohio.
Good luck
Stand
with
on our
that.
First Amendment right to petition, speech, press, and assembly. That's our mission here. And now I'm supposed to abandon the mission because you have some charlatans saying, oh, Chille could get charged with crimes because here's how the court could see it. Yeah, I can tell you right now, we could get hit by a comet next week. There's a comet coming through space, and let me tell you why. It's very probable that we could get hit by this comet tomorrow. And I could sit up here and give you all these different, charts and statistics and graphics and say, oh yeah, look at this. And oh, by the way, the world is flat. I can tell you valid reasons why the world is flat. You ever watch a flat earth video? They'll sit there and convince you. By the time you're done watching, you'll leave it and go, man, you know what? There's got to be, it should be flat. And then there's this little science called trigonometry. And if you know anything about trigonometry, then you know the world cannot be flat. If you know anything about how satellites work around the world, so you can watch MTV, then you know that
You can watch on TV.
that it would have to be a gigantic conspiracy by every single country in the world throughout the history of time to pretend as though you don't have to triangulate satellites so that you can get reception in Zimbabwe. That's how.
I got to break in here for a second because Colin is still here. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. And I forgot about Gunner's video. That is epic. I'm glad you brought that up because that's that's something to put in the library to play again one of these nights. That was a great video.
Lucid Dream did like a series of the Chille's encounters with the Gunner. That was pretty good. Did we lose? I think we lost Pat again.
Yeah, I saw him click out.
Okay.
I'll watch for him.
All right.
Listen, am I allowed to say that I dislike the judge who was biased?
No.
Yes, I
There
dislike that judge. I dislike her for cheating me. Yes.
Yeah, okay there, Patrick. You having some Wi-Fi issues?
Yeah, I came back in.
Yeah, I see.
Dislike what she did. I'm allowed to say that. Now, I'm not going to threaten her. I'm not going to do anything that's illegal. I'm going to ask that the people petition the court and say that this is biased, unprincipled, and I shouldn't be in jail. If you want to petition the judge who's going to hear the appeal brief on July 10th, you could petition that judge and say, Mr. DeCastro should be let go. His sentence was ridiculous. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to petition the governor and say, release Mr. DeCastro in the name of justice immediately, you can petition
Stop quickly right there. I took a quick peek at that, and it looks like the governor does not pardon people who are convicted of these types of misdemeanors. It has to be a certain felony. I didn't look a lot into it, but I was wondering if there would be any pardon available to Chille, and I think that one's out of the question, so no pardon.
Yeah, I wondered about that too, because just thinking back of people that have been pardoned, it's never been somebody that threw a beer can.
Yeah. Can we just take a minute and talk about the graphic that's behind him right now? The Amnesty International, free all human rights defenders. Oh my God! Wow.
Biased, unprincipled Ann Zimmerman. You can petition Ann Zimmerman, and I will not get in trouble. Me calling for millions of people to petition anybody is not illegal, and I cannot get in trouble for it.
That seems like a direct refutation of what your earlier video said, Pat.
Yeah.
Some charlatan stands up there and tries to say, no, listen to me. Here's how the court could see it. Yeah, the world is flat, and Haley's comment is going to flatten us all. And I could sit and convince you of it if I just sit here long enough and say it enough times for you to believe it. But it's not true. And if that is the case, then I'll take the charges, I'll be a martyr, and I'll fight for my freedom, and eventually I'll get out of here, and I'll win millions of dollars because you have the right to petition. I have the right to call for petitioning. You understand? All right. I don't want you guys to be afraid, and don't listen to charlatans. Remember, while the real, genuine article is locked up in a dungeon, you're going to have fakes and frauds who try to take my place.
Wow.
The void has to be filled with something. I'm not there.
I don't want to take his place.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
What do you call them? Underground dwellers who crawl from underneath of rocks. They come out.
Hey, wait a
My
minute.
name.
I think we've both been called bottom dwellers now, Pat.
Yeah. I thought I resembled that remark, so good for you,
Well.
Chille.
When people are going to listen to their channel, people are going to watch their channel. And what do they care about? That they get likes and views and comments. We are about mission over here. And one of our missions is our First Amendment right to petition, press, assembly, and speech. Do not allow your speech to be turned off because of a charlatan. Chille's going to be charged with crimes if you send in a petition. No, I'm not. I am not. That's not true. That's a lie. Send in your petition. Thanks for supporting me and getting me through it. And I only have 50 days, a little more than 50 days until the appeal brief is going to be heard in front of Michelle Levitt.
And shot
You should
down.
petition the court and say that I should be released and that my appeal brief should go through and the case should be overturned and that you're a concerned citizen. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not illegal, and I'm not going to get in trouble for it. It's just not going to happen. So, and if it does happen, then we'll deal with it. But I'm not going to shut off my speech, and I'm not
But
going
if
to
it
shut off
does
my right
happen.
to petition to redress government.
He wouldn't stop that one.
No matter who tells you they know better, they don't.
What's that?
All right?
Yeah.
I got to go.
Ram.
Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys.
He says, and if it does happen, we'll just deal with it. Well,
Yeah.
what if it's a criminal charge?
Right. Yeah. What if it's federal? Yeah. I mean,
Anyway.
jeez. Because he's got a large audience, it could end up being turned into some kind of federal charge because it's, interstate or,
Well, he is what he is.
Yes, he is. Later, Gators. Give me money. Money me now.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to jump off, guys. I appreciate
Yep.
you letting me on the show.
Yep, me
Yeah,
too.
Patrick. Thanks for stopping by.
Me too. Thanks. Yeah. Great video. Great to have you.
Thank you.
And I will have to bail here myself. I got a lot of stuff to take care of. Wish I could hang out longer, but always nice to have Pat here.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, certainly is.
Why didn't you listen to him, Chille?
I've kind of, after hearing that, I kind of hope he does end up facing some federal charges.
Well, I mean,
Is
at this point,
disgusting.
yeah, I mean, he just keeps by doing this kind of stuff. He just keeps inviting problems.
I wonder how that Michelle Levitt feels him bringing her name up all the time before he's even appeared before.
Yeah, for something that's not even a thing. Like,
Yeah.
not even a possibility. You know what I mean?
So did you see where Ass Elmo's channel got pulled down? And
I don't know. Somebody said demonetized. Anybody know? Is
they're
it
demonetized,
down
yeah.
or is it? Oh, so it's not gone. It's just
I haven't gone to look. I just saw the traffic on it.
Yeah, that guy's annoying as shit.
Absolutely is.
Yeah. All these people are tiresome after a while.
Yep.
All right.
The-
Well, happy 1 year anniversary, buddy.
Yeah, thanks.
Are you staying on, or you?
Not very long, because I think I'm still a little imbalanced here.
Uh-oh.
I got to try to get my blood sugar back down.
Yes, it's important to have a balanced RAM.
Balanced RAM.
Yes.
Yeah, this whole blood sugar thing's been quite a new adventure for me. And it really sucks when it's not right.
Yep. Just stay off of them carbs.
I'm doing my best. I actually haven't had any today, so that's what's throwing me off. Anyway.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
all right, gang.
3 hours ago, I would have passed on doing this. I felt so bad. I actually feel a little bit better now. Well, buddy, appreciate you. Say hey to the missus, and
Yep. I guess we'll see you Thursday. Yeah, I should be going live Thursday, I think. Just got a lot happening right now, so.
Right.
All right, gang. So long.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later. All right.